send the text or call, and then like you're gonna be sitting here like activating my watch. Like it's just gonna be kind of goofy for $179. Like that's half
Just
the price the watch is.
I'm just imagining like walking into the kitchen to like your significant other. It's like just rib barbecue sauce all over their hands and be like,
Yeah, with just
"What are you doing?"
doing
I'm
some
talking to my mom.
like oh, what's it called? Emperor Palpatine like using the electricity. Oh man. Welcome back. Get ready to turn on dark mode where we treat video games, tech, and not Cyberpunk 2077 like it's our 9 to 5.
Yeah, yeet.
We're
I'm
we're
not playing
we're
that game.
gonna we're gonna hold on. I'm taking a break because it doesn't run on my desktop computer because I don't want to keep playing on
Okay.
the laptop. I
Yeah.
like I'm not hating on the game, but I feel like we
Okay.
gotta stop talking about it because it's been like episodes in a row where it's just
No,
been a
I'm
lot.
done. I uninstalled it from my computer. I just
Oh really? You're real gone. Like it's out.
dude, I have so many other games I need to install on my computer. I need that space.
Yeah, like Hitman 3 coming up. You pretty pumped about that, huh?
Hitman 3, it's got like stellar reviews. Because Hitman 2, I don't know if you remember this, but like people were skeptical of it because they didn't really change much of the formula from the first of that trilogy, where the like the new gen Hitman games.
Yeah.
They like pretty much kept it the same, and you could play the old levels in this. It was just kind of like a cosmetic with new
Wait,
levels.
so you're saying from 2 or from 1 to 2, not like from
For
Hitman 1 to the previous Hitman games.
right, I'm saying from Hitman the new gen
The
of the
reboot.
new trilogy to Hitman 2, everyone was like, "What the hell?" Because they only did like cosmetic changes with new maps and kind of they didn't really do anything else.
You okay?
So
You know,
this
before you get in, it's really funny you say that because I was gonna come at you saying from what I've seen, Hitman 3 looks the exact same as 2. So hit me, enlighten me with what's different. Cause I want to know, my guy. That is exactly why I was like, what? Like, I mean, I'm sure it's fun,
so
but
okay,
go ahead.
okay, okay. From what I read, they first of all the new maps that they designed are way more in it like they're I mean, you know how you can freestyle basically any
Yeah, it's just a
like
sandbox
which way.
game, sandbox levels.
But the Hitman 3, it progresses the story even much further. Like Hitman 2 was really satisfying with their stories and levels as you progress through. And from what I read, it's really innovative what they've done with the level design. Granted, with graphics, yeah, like it looks pretty much the same, but like with this game, it's hard to really keep climbing. So they have to find other ways. And it sounds like they did that with the level design, which I'm really excited about
Yeah.
because that's half the game is just like playing around in levels.
Well, I guess
So
like I don't like the graphics they're good enough. Like I wouldn't expect a huge jump there, but
right.
like for instance, I like a lot of people on Twitch have been playing Hitman 2 to prepare for 3, right? And I watched some
Hmm.
of those streams and like cuz it's entertaining to watch. And then like Hitman 3 was out today and I saw someone streaming it, so I clicked on it and then I saw the gameplay and I'm like, "Did I click on the wrong stream? Like this looks like 2." Like
Right.
I thought
Right.
it was like cuz they didn't refresh any UI or anything, so like I guess they're just in the mindset that if it ain't broke, don't fix
Yeah, they didn't pull Cyberpunk. So
it.
like
Dude, you gotta stop talking about it. We cut it. It's gone.
but I'm really excited to play that. So my thought process was I was not gonna play the Cyberpunk, so I uninstalled it because I have that game. And honestly, Game Pass on PC is making me want to play so many more games. Control comes out today. So I installed it. I'm
We're working towards it. It's gonna be played eventually. I'm waiting. All right, proceed.
so that's in there. Medium comes out next week on Game Pass, which I'm gonna play it. Which like who saw that coming? Not me.
Yeah, I
So
can't play the horror first person. Well, it's third person, so maybe I could.
I don't know. I'm hoping it's like a Jordan Peele movie where normally I wouldn't watch a horror movie, but he does such a good job of story building and hooking me into the story of it all and like the cinematography of it all that I'm hooked in and want to play it. And I'm hoping they do that with this game. That's my thought process.
We'll see.
Is
I'll wait.
is it
I'll
might
await
not
the verdict.
it might not be the game that like puts me into the horror category, but it's gonna be the game where I'm like, yo, mad respect for what they did. Like it was really innovative, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That game, Control, uh Desperados 3 came on the Game Pass. Like all these games I normally wouldn't buy, but it's just conveniently there. I'm in. And I'm sold on Xbox Game Pass being like a really useful tool. Like I if you are just a genuine fan of like wanting to get into the games or like just like have you're like confused of what backlog items to tackle, just get Game Pass. It's $1 for a month trial. Like you literally have nothing to lose.
Isn't that price going away soon? Like or maybe that was the $5 PC price because they said something about it being an introductory price and how it was going to go up, but the base $10 Game Pass isn't it 10 for them?
It's 9.99 for the PC Game Pass or the console Game Pass.
Yeah, yeah,
But
and
if
then Ultimate's 15.
Ultimate's 15 a month, but
Okay,
that includes your gold membership
yeah,
as well.
yeah. I mean, it's a good deal. Like I'm not gonna fight that. Like that is a steal. But like I just I don't know. Like I can't bring myself to buy it on PC yet, just because like I'm so like set on like okay, I own the games, I go back and I play all of them like random times, you know what I mean? And like games come and go from Games Pass the same way that movies and TV shows come and go from Netflix, and like all hell breaks loose every time they remove a show. Like The Office just got removed and I was in the middle of watching it. Like or actually I'll say I was on season 9, so I have to install the UK VPN in order to finish it because it's still in the UK.
Yeah,
So
but they give you a month notice. Like
oh yeah, I get you. But like think about like how, we're busy, we're making content creation, like we got other things going on. And like sometimes we might not get all the value we wanted to out of the game. Or sometimes you just like I've been craving Portal 2 randomly. Like randomly. I wouldn't be able to just like go boot that up. You know what I mean? Like I have to own that game. So I-
but at least with Game Pass for the games where I was like iffy on, like Desperados 3, where I'm like the game at its core should entice me to play the game, but for whatever reason I'm not completely sold.
yeah.
If it did go away from Game Pass, I could at least boot it up for a month to see if I liked it enough to buy and not really waste like that much money or time on it. Um but I don't know. I guess I'm pretty biased because I like it. It works for my level of just like in
Yeah.
and out of
I
games.
was gonna
Like
say.
Creedfall. Creedfall for like the longest time was on my wish list just as like a core of the story. And Co Carnage like really loved it. And so I'm like, I might as well just install it just to see. Once it got on Game Pass, I'm like, I can finally try it because I would never pay money for it because it kind of looks like trash. And it low key was trash. So I mean, that's another thing.
Yeah, I guess
But
it just allows for you to try more stuff. So if that's like what you value in games, just like hopping around trying new things, I feel like it's good. But if you really like to like buckle down and play games for like, you know, 100 hours, because I mean I have friends that do that. Like they just like commit to one game. You're not really getting your value out of it, I feel like. Because like
right, unless
that
you're
might
unsure about
span
that game.
multiple months. And I guess at the same time, then you still only really pay that full price of the game. So maybe not. I don't know. I just don't want to do it.
I like how we full circled that, like where you were just like, you know what, man, I'm not even gonna keep trying.
Well, like I'm not trying to knock it. I'm just saying in my use case, like I don't think I would do it. And especially like if I
Right.
get a PS5, like it would feel a little bit weird to like pay for that. I don't know.
Yeah, and plus when you get the PS5, you have to spend like at least 100, over asking. So it's a lose lose.
Yeah, if you
So
want it now, but like like I said, I'm just trying to be patient with that. I want a 3080 more, but like
yeah,
cryptocurrency, Bitcoin's like 40 grand right now. Like what the hell? So like the MSRP of the GPUs are gonna start going up, like they already kind of have. So
yep,
like it is
yep,
just not a good time right now. And it just sucks because I want to play the game we won't speak about, but I can't unless I want to
yeah.
play it on a mobile laptop. But
Yo, did Cyberpunk just become Voldemort? Like we can't speak its name.
no, I, I'm trying to like refrain from just diving back in on that because
Okay,
we could
okay,
just talk at length.
yeah. Also, you bringing up the graphics cards makes me think of something else. Like, what if like during Christmas time somebody was like their kid has been begging to build a PC, and the dad's like, I just couldn't get you a graphics card, but don't worry, we'll wait for January. We'll snag one. And then Bitcoin's like, yeah, yeet, we're at 40 grand, dude. Tommy's not getting his PC this Christmas. You
Yeah.
can't build that shit.
I'm imagining dad being like a financial advisor, so he's like really well versed in the cryptocurrency, and he's like, even I didn't see this coming. Like, what the hell? Um,
He's just yelling at his computer. It's not even currency. It's not even currency.
yeah, so I
Uh,
mean, I had to fill the void with something else, and what better than to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla because I had that for free when
mm,
I got my AMD CPU. And
I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I kind of did too. Like it had just been staring at me on the desktop, and I would keep
Mm-hmm.
brushing over it like that's a commitment. Like that's like 60 hours minimum. Like I don't think I want to do that like right now.
And man, you even had it installed, ready to
Oh,
go
I
too.
did.
Like,
Like I installed that the day it was presented as free to me. So then I was like,
mm-hmm.
it's ready for whenever I want it. Because for instance, if I had the itch to play it and then had to install it that day, I would have been kind of off it. But I
Yeah.
saw myself in the future being like, Taylor, you're gonna want to play it at some random time. Be thankful. So I was thankful to previous Taylor. Now
Man, usually I hate my past self, but yeah.
you're just like fuck that guy. Like we don't like
No,
past
dude, I'm
Keegan.
such a like just think about it. I'm such a bad procrastinator that like half the time I'm just like, yo, fuck past self. Like, why am I in this situation? It's like, well, yourself decided to push it off.
Yeah, man, you got some issues to work out there, but you know what? Maybe what help solve it is by you guys liking, subscribing, and hitting that bell for notifications, and then Keegan will be
That's a
magically
good point.
fixed because that's how
That's a
things
good
work.
point. As soon as we hit 1,000 subs, I will just magically not be sad.
And I will magically be playing League again. So Keegan, we talked about this. I
I've
said 1,000.
I
I said 1,000 before, and you were trying to make it something like 60.
I forgot that we even made that bet. You could
Oh,
have
I thought you were
you
like
could have
that was like the first time you heard it. I'm like, we have discussed this.
no. Like you could have easily slid like underneath the radar of that. Like I would not have remembered.
I was trying to move on quickly, but you were like flabbergasted over there. So moving right along, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The verdict, it's aight. All right. Like, no surprise there. It's a decent game. Like, let me just say this. It's a lot of fun, but
Hmm.
very unpolished. And I don't know if it's the whole, we're gonna go with the COVID blaming and the work from home, whatever. I think like previous Assassin's Creed have had their own quirks and
Yeah.
little mix ups, but I find myself fighting with the controls quite a bit and just like AI being weird. Like I'm playing it on the second hardest combat difficulty, but
Hmm.
the hardest sneaking difficulty because it's not just a set like choose your difficulty. You have to choose between I think 4 like difficulties and then sneaking has only 3. Really weird. Don't get
What?
it. I guess like what
Well, I got questions.
all right, you want to
I
ask
got.
a couple?
So you're telling me there's like combat difficulty and then there's stealth difficulty.
Yeah. I think there was another slider I had to change to, but I don't remember.
But like,
Oh, I think it had to do with, like, the HUD. It was, like, the world difficulty. Like, do you want a minimal HUD
oh,
experience, or do you wanna see, like, the mini map and, like, the guidance and stuff?
bro, that has me tweaked. I'm like over here like wondering why that was implementation. And like also like how useful and actually how effective it actually changes the game
In this
because like
game, not much.
okay.
But in other games, like, see, I know where you're going, like, all you basically had to do was say, like, 3 words of your question, and I know how, like, where you're going and how to answer it. Like, that's what we're on. I'll say The Last of Us 2 did this. They had you can
Okay.
choose a difficulty. It's like choosing a graphics preset. What preset difficulty do you want? Now customize that. Now, like they had survival difficulty, but I hated in those difficulties that you literally had no gear, ammo, or resources. So I put everything on survival except that I put that on hard. So like it made it
Okay.
like slightly tailored to my experience. Now, granted, in this game, I didn't really mess around with much. I was just like, okay, I don't want to hate life. I'll put it on the second hardest. And then I was like, okay, well, I don't want to go with normal sneaking AI because usually that's like dumb. Like they literally can't see you and stuff.
That's what I'm
But
thinking. Yeah. Okay.
but I think the problem is with them not having 4 options, that jump from normal to master assassin is like no chill. Like, bro, I would be in the bushes, full hidden, throw a bow, like sneakily hit a head, and the dude's like, we found him. Like, yo, we gotta knock it back a little bit. Like that's like you have some unreal game sense, but yeah, so that was some weird quirk that was going on with the difficulties. So like I was oftentimes fighting with that AI with the sneaking because it was like I don't get it. But yeah, I mean like the game's a little buggy and like by no means any as the game, the one Voldemort we'll call it. But uh basically like this wasn't even at launch because this game launched a while ago. Like it's not like
Right.
by any means like it came out recent. Uh, well, I shouldn't say by any means. It's kind of recent. But they introduced a bug when like they patched the game recently and sometimes in cutscenes the lips of the characters just don't move for a sentence and it really just yanks you out of the immersion. Like you'll be like, "Oh, this is cool. This is like some cool Viking story. Like we're raiding England. Like, yeah, this is neat." And then all of a sudden, somebody's just like ventriloquist, just like, "How's it going, man?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, is that?" And then like it happened again and again, and I'm like, "Oh, it's like just a bug." And then I saw an article about it and how they like it was like accidentally broken. So whatever they thought they fixed, they thought was more important than the freaking lip movement.
Well,
So
they must have not regression tested their code. But that I don't think there's any worse type of bug when it affects the NPC's lips. Cause that you're right, it totally yanks you out of a game when it's just like like it's just like you don't get to see anything go on and you're like, wow, this is I'm back in the video game. I'm back 10 years in like technology. It just that's I think that's probably the most disappointing. And
yeah.
I think that's why okay, I'm not gonna go in Cyberpunk. I was about to, but I'm not going to.
Okay, cool. I'm
Um,
gonna I'm gonna just distract you and keep talking.
okay, cool. Keep going,
um,
keep going.
there's only a couple more things I want to say about the game because like I've played in for like 10 hours and I'm enjoying it. Like I said, there's some qualms I have that kind of like they're just frustrating, but for the most part, it's cool. But like one interesting thing, and I don't think I dislike this, but it's definitely like a stark difference than like every other RPG I played, especially after coming from Cyberpunk. And there's no side quest. No like dedicated long side quest
Okay,
uh threads, we'll call them.
okay,
And the reason why is because the story is like it wouldn't make sense to have them. And at first I was like, what? Like, that's weird. But you play a Viking that is literally raiding other countries, taking over. Who's gonna give you a quest?
right.
So like I was like, oh, yeah, okay. So what they've substituted is these smaller, like probably like couple minute or to like 10-minute long world events or mysteries and like just things that you'll happen across like the world is living. So like for instance, I raided this town and then like just on the path there's just like children playing. And then they were like really friendly, but they were like, "Oh, we want to like go to battle when we're older." And then like you're like a battle hardened Viking, so you're like, "Okay, like we'll role play." And then like you lead them into battle and you're like fighting scarecrows and like it's all like wholesome and lighthearted. And then at the end they're like,
Before you go raiding a village.
no, this is after. Like, and it's also like across the map. So like it wasn't their family that we killed. Don't worry.
Right. Okay. I was
But
about to be like, raid a village, kids outside the village. Hey guys, I know we just killed your mom and dad, but like, let's go run.
exactly. But like they go, yeah, like when we get older, we're gonna like put an end to the Raven clan, and then your character's like, wait, that's my clan. They're like, oh, we just helped the enemy's children. And they're like, all right, well, maybe we'll see you on the battlefield someday, and then just walks off. And I'm like, okay, that was kind of entertaining, but that's by no means a normal side quest. Like, that's like
No,
almost like a Borderlands side quest, like really short and just humorous. So,
that's actually surprising coming from Ubisoft, to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah. I mean, because they still have their other cookie cutter, like world
Right.
building, and like climb the thing to unlock the map. But I'm looking past that because I don't often play Assassin's Creeds. I've actually only played two. This is the second, and the first one was Black Flag. So like, I am by no means like an avid.
I
I wanted to
I
say
have
Cyberpunk, Assassin's Creed player. Dude, we can't escape this game.
I well, because all the time we talk about that, I'm like, oh yeah, that reminds me of I can't talk about that. Okay.
Yeah,
But you talking about it, it sounds like a very typical Ubisoft launch where it's like I don't know, I feel like Ubisoft like doesn't release bangers. Like it's just always like, yeah, it was pretty good. And
yeah.
it was like
They're,
but I
you know
honest
what they might be? They might be the Drake of the video game industry.
yeah, they're just
Like, some people just like, "Dang, like, he's putting out straight hits," and other people's like, "Nah, it's just, like, overrated garbage."
yeah. And they're always gonna be somewhat moderately successful. But like, I don't know. I haven't played Assassin's Creed since Assassin's Creed 3.
Okay.
And I gave up on the series. I just full stopped. I'm like, you guys aren't doing what I want you to do. Like,
Satisfy just me.
well, I was an avid fan from the first one. Then they released the second, and I'm like, not what I was expecting. And then I got really pumped for Assassin's Creed 3, and I personally didn't like it at all. Like I thought it had a lot of potential, but just the overall launch of it, I was just like not happy with the way that they were just like the same game.
Yeah.
Um, so and then when Black Flag came out, I honestly was not on the bandwagon of pirate ship like combat. Like it seemed like during that phase, every game was trying to do some sort of like sea combat,
Yeah.
and I thought it was the most boring
I don't
thing
like
in
it.
the world. And like Sea of Thieves when that came out, I was like, I don't want to play this game.
You had it on Game Pass! That's
I did
another
have it on Game
reason
Pass.
why yeah, you could try a game.
I didn't want to play it. I played it once with you guys because everyone was on it. But I knew I was like this is a game where they doubled down thinking this was where the genre was gonna go, and it didn't, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, but it sounds like this game might have like shifted the tides. And honestly, ever since Origins, I've been curious to get back in it. And then Odyssey came out, and I'm like, ooh, maybe you guys got me. And then this game came out, Valhalla, and I'm like, maybe I'm back in. Still not fully convinced, but
Yeah.
maybe.
Well,
Just maybe.
I'll say that some people prefer Odyssey over Valhalla and vice versa, but I would say that like this is a good time to try it out again because they are vastly different than the original formula. Like the combat is completely different. And
Hmm.
I remember before Origins came out, they were even talking about how they wanted to make it play more like The Witcher 3. And when I play this, I'm constantly reminded of Witcher 3 combat with just like a
Wow.
different
Okay.
story. Like obviously The Witcher 3 has more in-depth role playing and like
Hmm.
quest lines and stuff, but like they succeeded in capturing that because they were getting real stale with the original formula. So
Right. I always like my favorite thing about Assassin's Creed games is you could talk to the biggest fanatic of the game, the guy that's been the diehard since day one. And if you go, hey, but like link to me how the story goes.
oh, don't pay
No one
attention.
knows.
Don't pay attention to that, dude. I
Like,
genuinely forgot that they do that real life connection with the animus. So like all of a sudden when I started seeing technology stuff and like we came out, I'm like, oh yeah, here goes the weird Assassin's Creed shit. Like I don't really want to do this. So I just like beelined it through to get right back in. Like,
bro, I think that's the reason I like full stopped it, right? Because I thought like from a story perspective, it just was going nowhere.
yeah,
And I couldn't like the first game, it like, oh, that is like it's like brand new. It's not like it's something I've ever seen before. It's very new age. It's a really interesting story that never gets developed and only gets more convoluted as you play it more.
yeah,
You could be 4 to 5 games into this game and you have no idea what any of the story plots are, what any twists or turns are, or sometimes even what your character in the real life his name is
yeah,
or his ancestry.
yeah.
So to me, I'm like, what the fuck is this franchise?
Like to me, it's a cool concept that just was overplayed and not really fully developed.
Well, they made it into a franchise thinking, and when that happened, I wish they would have just been like, yo, each game's gonna be its own thing.
That would have
Kind of
been
like how
much
Far
better.
Cry, like what Far Cry does, where it's just like new game, new villain. We deal with it. But then they were like, no, 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 like it's gonna get there. Don't you worry. Like I'm just waiting for like the next game to come out after this, and it's gonna be like, we're going back to the Crusades, and
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, okay, another new game that's a remaster, and it's literally just called Assassin's Creed. Like I'm
Yeah,
waiting for
without
that to
a
happen.
subtitle, yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna happen. But I've definitely getting story points that are from the original game or like the couple ones before it, and because I'm like familiar with some of it, but I'm like a lot of this is going over my head. But like I'm just here to like be a Viking, so you guys miss me with this stuff. I'm just caring about like the immediate story of my character, not like the ancient ones or whatever they call themselves.
yeah. Watch the next one be just like World War I, and it's just like it's like a Battlefield or a Call of Duty game that like Ubisoft Ubisoft finally got in the door. That's not like Rainbow Six Siege, and it's like their own Call of Duty.
And then it's just gonna be called Assassin's Creed. We don't know what to do next.
It's Assassin's Creed World at War. Oh wait, that's a Call of Duty game. We can't do that.
Yeah. But we know what to talk about next. We can talk about all the CES stuff that's happening because there's been a lot of cool and weird stuff that's been announced. I didn't actually watch the press conferences though. I just like saw the news articles.
I genuinely don't know how many people actually watched it that aren't journalists. But the thing about CES that always cracks me up is like two of these things are gonna actually be a thing.
But see, I was saying that to you because I was like, lots of things are proof of concept. But when I actually like went through some of the product list, some of them were a lot more practical than I thought. And I don't know if that's because they were like, I don't know if we need this weird shit with what we're going through right now. Like maybe we need to tone it
Yeah,
back a little bit and maybe
that's
put some
that's
stuff
true.
out that people can actually look forward to. But
That is true. That's also another variable into what like actually comes to market.
yeah,
But I don't know. There was the I like you want to just kick it off with the phones because I feel like that's like the big thing that everyone looks towards, right?
yeah.
Everyone wants to know what the next innovation of phones is going to be, and like in my mind they're still missing the mark. I So LG is doing the rollable phone, and I'm sitting here like, what is this, like the flexi ruler? You remember those in grade school? They like the
Yeah.
cool kids had the flexi ones
Yeah.
that like wrap around their wrists. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
are we really applying that to phones now? Like in my head, I'm like, I think we are at a point where phones are so stale, and I think we're just waiting for someone to nut up and be like, we're gonna get rid of the hard device. It's gonna be connected to your watch, and it's gonna project to your hand or some. It's gonna project somewhere other than a actual hardware. I think that's the next step, and I haven't seen that innovation come through yet. They're still
But
hung up on like it needs to be flexible or flip
But
or
see, I think that's the stepping stone in between what you're talking about because right now we
okay,
have a physical device that doesn't bend, doesn't move, doesn't do anything. And then like people think about like the holographic things or like the artificial or what's it called?
right,
Augmented
lenses.
reality and like that kind of thing. But like there needs to be some sort of middle ground and I think what people want first is more portable devices, but people still like big screen real estate. They just don't like to store that big screen. So like people like iPhone, they talk about iPhone mini and like that's kind of popular. And then like other phones are having smaller phone sizes, but then like a lot of Android phones are going huge and like people have conflicting ideas. But like I think what's gonna happen is like either it's rollable or bendable, flippable. Like we might go back towards flip phones, but either way, you're going to have something that's portable, but then you can like choose your screen size. Cause like when I was seeing some videos on it, they were like, "Oh yeah, I mean, it has a motor in it, which is just like more points of failure." Like I don't think that's what will be later on. Like they have to figure out something more reliable. But like it was a normal phone size like this and then it started to like go tablet size. And then like, "Oh, now I could watch a video like big. All right, now let's put the phone away. Now it's like this small and it goes in the pocket." So like
Yeah.
it's weird right now, but, like, I feel like that's what's gonna happen first before we're, like, projecting shit to our hands and, like, looking all over with the AR for just, like, as a replacement. That's all gonna be, like, supplemental tech.
Well, hear me out, but you brought up like the stepping stone. I genuinely thought when we went to smartwatches, that was the stepping stone people needed. The disconnect from the actual device to a different area of your body, and then also having it on you 24/7. I thought people are going to start drawing the lines to that, and maybe like the actual companies would go towards a more seamless interaction with that. But honestly, it's been a few years now, and I feel like smartwatches are like, oh, I can see a text message pull up. I can maybe pick up a phone call and I can track my steps. I feel like we haven't like gone really. I don't feel like there's been a ton of innovations with that the smartwatches, or at least it's not being utilized like I thought it would be.
But
Like
I think what you're describing plays into the fact that that is built to be supplemental, not replacing. Because
replacing, yeah,
like when you use those devices, yeah, they can do what the phones can do, but they do it in a very limited fashion. And even if it can do everything to the full extent at like a slower pace, as soon as I'm like seeing a text that is going to take longer than a couple words to respond to, my phone is out because it's faster. And like I use the watch for like the running, like activity tracking, and then like yeah, I like to be able to see notifications and quick respond and things like that. And like I like the style of it, but like again, it's like supplemental. So if they make like a watch that can like, you know, go big, and now I got the phone, and like I don't know, that might be kind of like gimmicky, but I feel like we're gonna like stumble our way into like there's gonna be a lot of failures.
yeah. And I don't know. Like I would be curious to see what the sales are on that new iPhone that was like regular size and they went actually smaller than for their release, the cheaper version.
Yeah, the mini.
And I would genuinely like to see that sale because I personally kind of go the other way. I think people actually don't like how big the phones are getting. I think there's definitely a fan base for it, but I think a lot of people don't ingest like either want to get away from ingesting too much media on their phones and they want to go to different areas or want to go back to a more condensed version of that. Because look at Quibi. Like Quibi was supposed to be a design tailored media platform to be ingested in short-term like videos and to be on your phone and mobile devices, and it like failed hard.
Yeah.
Now, granted, people talk about the premium service and whatnot. I'm like, what? Even take that out of it because it really wasn't that expensive. I think it failed because I don't think we as like I think we're trying to get away from that because I think we understand how bad that is for our mental health to be so attached in like to these large devices that we're on all the time. So I think it'd be interesting to see if we scale it back, if we eventually get to that point where things are either smaller, condensed, and or get supplemented by the watches, if like mental healthness oh wow, can't talk. If mental health gets like if gets better, if we get like all new ways of doing things with our devices, I don't know. I genuinely want to get away from the phone. Like I'm kind of tired of it. Like
Yeah.
I you know me, I want to put it in my wrist and I've like I'm at that point and I want to see those innovations come through and I didn't see that this year, which I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, but I also guess like people might want to get away from their phones, but then they like unknowingly will then spend like hours on Instagram, like doing exactly what Quibi would have been doing, but like for free. So I think that that price tag at any rate, like it doesn't even need to be cheap. As soon as there's a dollar sign in the works, people are like, whoa, like back it up, son. Like I already get all that content from like Snapchat, Instagram, and like Facebook, all this other garbage that people just like mindlessly waste time on. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the phones are in a weird spot. I really don't know where else they can go other than this like foldable, flexible stuff currently. Um, maybe holographic in supplemental forms, but like replacements for like our slabs aren't coming anytime soon. If anything, Apple's probably going to make that portless slab, and like they're just going to keep
Yeah.
that like super clean disc look and crap like that. So I don't know.
Well, the problem when we go supplemental is that these companies are going to want to charge outlandish prices for it because you won't be buying their hardware on like a year and a half basis.
Well, did you see the watch band that was for the Apple Watch? It's called the Mudra band, and it like
Yeah.
replaces your normal band. It's got all these sensors and like electromagnetic gesture readers that it reads your like small finger gestures so you can control it without like touching it. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if that's lazy or ingenious because like I can just, use the other hand. If the other hand's not free, it probably can't wiggle. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm holding grocery bags and I need to, like, use the watch, that's what the voice activation's for. I'm not wiggling my fingers with grocery bags, you know what I mean? Like, I don't
And
understand that one.
also, you know what's also fucked up is that we're like, so you're in that situation. Let's say you're holding groceries.
Mhm.
You receive a text. We're in a space now where we feel like we have to respond to that while we're holding our bags.
Yeah, yeah, like, it's you can't let it go past, like, 5 seconds.
We're like, oh, I would be an asshole to not respond to this text while I'm like carrying groceries. Not just to wait a couple minutes, set them down, be like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then,
I mean, I agree, like, I wouldn't respond in that instance, but I'm just trying to think, because like, I've seen the commercials for the Samsung phone when they talked about their voice assistant or their
right.
watches, and, like, they're eating, like, dirty ribs or, like, washing dishes, and then they're like, "I can't touch the phone," and then they, like, talk to the thing, and then, like, send the text or call, and then, like, you're gonna be sitting here like, activating my watch. Like, it's just gonna be kinda goofy for $179. Like, that's half
Just
the price the watch is.
I'm just imagining like walking into the kitchen to like your significant other. It's like just rib barbecue sauce all over their hands and be like,
Yeah, with just
"What are you doing?"
doing some,
I'm talking to
like
my mom.
what's it called? Emperor Palpatine, like, using the electricity. Oh, man. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know, and I you know how I am with phones. I think the technology for phones has been so lacking for so long, and like we're only getting moderately better every year. So it would be kind of cool to see a phone succeed. Like nobody's talking about the smart razor that flips, and like
Yeah.
if the rollable comes out and everyone's like, "Yo, fruit roll-ups came through, like let's go."
You know the memes are gonna be fire on that. You we should make one already.
Oh man, but I don't know, like that was the one thing I focused hard on because I was just, I'm kind of a critic of it, but
Well, I
I don't know,
think
we'll
that
see.
one thing that's held in the same, like, high accord in these CES events is, like, laptops, because those are something
Yeah.
else that's really in focus, and especially nowadays with working from home, and, uh, I'll be honest, there wasn't a ton there either, but, we got Asus over here doing weird shit with their their ZenBook Duo, Pro Duo,
Mhm.
excuse me. This is the second iteration of this bad boy, but, like, this is another one of the nobody asked for this, and
Yeah.
it's like kind of cool, and I guess it's not as expensive as I would have expected for the
Right.
additional display. So like it's kind of a gimmick, but I could see the use in it. But I'm gonna kind of like dismantle it in this next sentence. Apple is gonna get rid of the touch bar. They made a giant ass touch bar. So like I different sides of the spectrum, like, Apple's like, "Okay, I think we might have messed up with that one, let's get rid of it," and then other people are like, "Nah, make it bigger, like, let's do it." So, I don't know, but I guess in this case, you could use it for, like, a secondary display, so I don't know.
I didn't even think of that. Like seeing it, I didn't even register that the fact that like those are definitely going to go out of style. Because we both work on MacBooks, you and I.
Yeah.
I think I've used it twice, the touch bar, and it was to slide the volume up and down.
Okay, so, like,
And that's
do
it.
you never adjust your volume? Because you kinda have to use that in order to interact with the volume,
No,
unless you
I have the keyboard.
Oh, so, like, you're using an external keyboard, okay. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, there's like, I interact with it quite a bit because, like, that's how you change brightness or whatever, and see, I was in the mindset where, like, yeah, I can see how it's kinda gimmicky, but I did like it because it was customizable, and then now that I actually went back, I have a MacBook Air, the M1 thing, and it doesn't have it, and I kind of miss it, I'm not gonna lie, because, like, there are function buttons that I will now never use. Like the dictation button. Get that shit
Yeah.
out of here. I'm never going to talk to it. Like I would
Yeah,
rather replace that with something more useful.
I've
So,
never hit deny so many times in my life.
yeah.
Um, but also I think the touch bar though, it's just like I think it'd be more useful if it was lower. If it was like just above the trackpad, because I don't know, like just like the way my hand rests to go up above the function keys to get to it, I don't.
Think about how many accidental wrist press you would do while typing though.
That's true. So like that's why I'm like the touch bar. I don't really. I mean, granted, I thought it was cool, and I honestly didn't think anything of it until you brought that up, and I'm like, yeah, I don't use it like
Yeah.
ever. It just looks pretty.
Well, I think what people really want is just a touchscreen Mac. But like Apple's really like, nah, just get an iPad then. So like
Yeah,
I don't think
honestly,
that's gonna happen.
I think touchscreens are gross.
True, but like all right. For instance, the Lenovo Yoga is like a very successful Windows computer
Yeah,
tablet hybrid that a lot of people swear by. Now, I don't really care for interacting with a laptop in a touchscreen form because that's what the keyboard and mouse are for. But like, if you're gonna do a touch bar, like you might as well just like make the whole thing a touchscreen because like needing to go down to interact with it at that level is kind of like okay man, can I just directly click on stuff? So
honestly, another thing with laptops that I'm realizing, like now that we're out of school, and me and you, obviously we have our work laptops.
mhm,
And now you have a gaming laptop now, but you bought it for a specific scenario and then you liked it, so you kept it.
yeah,
But in my head, I'm like, when would I ever really want to buy a personal laptop? Because I have my desktop. Granted, I have a scenario, but like as a gamer, I'm like, never. I would never need a laptop. I can't think of a scenario where I need it because I have my work laptop and my work laptop is they're really chill at my work, so they basically my laptop is my I own the admin to it. It's not. I mean, granted, like I'm not gonna do anything
yeah,
stupid,
you're
but
not gonna
like
yeah, like there's a limit to what you would do on it, but if you're just like gonna like do some basic surfing,
if
like
I
you'll
just
be
wanted to
fine.
join like a family Zoom call, I guess I have it, or FaceTime since I don't have an Apple phone, I can use the MacBook. But like I'm just sitting here like when like I look at laptop news, like there's a part of me it's like, why am I looking at this right now? Like I'm never
Yeah.
gonna buy a laptop.
So, see, like I wouldn't say never, but like it's very unlikely. But like a lot of like content creators that like do design work would have it. So like let's say later on the down the line, like if once like COVID restrictions are gone and like you need to travel, but like we need to get some designs out, like that would be the use case where you would need it. Now you
Right.
wouldn't go out and buy like a $3,000 computer because that would be kind of
Right.
ridiculous. But like
I'll just expense it.
there are use
Dark
cases for it.
dark mode credit card.
What do we got? What's that credit line, bro? Like negative?
Well, once we hit 1,000 subs, we
then
can
then
get a
it'll
credit
be
line of like a
exactly
hundred
like
dollars,
$2 or something.
$100 or something. Yeah.
Well, that's asking a lot.
Well,
Um,
it's a credit line, dude.
well, let's see what else we got going on here. Like, there's just a couple other little knickknacks that it was kind of like that's. I'll just keep saying it. That's neat, but I don't know if
Yeah,
I'll
like
I'll get it.
the arcade coffee table.
Yeah. Now, like, you have to be kind of like pumped about that. Like, granted, I'm not a board game guy, but like, I was the other day thinking about like, I'm surprised something like a virtual board game thing, 'cause, they got tabletop simulator, like a
Yeah.
physical something like that, and then like, bam, infinity game table.
Well, the thing is like I here what I've seen in that like genre is I've seen really cool like D&D tables that people build where they build entirely like handcrafted tables where they have a TV or even a touchscreen TV or monitor embedded in the desk
Yeah,
that they, use that to like do their tabletop games. So like I've seen that, but like this being an interactive piece, which I have seen at like a beer arcade, right? Like a bar that has is it also an arcade. I've seen like Pac-Man stations like this, but like to have it accessible at home would be like really cool.
but this is just essentially the pre-built PC. Like,
Right.
if you don't want to go through the trouble of jerry rigging it yourself or going to a bar to do it, like you can have one at home for $700. So, I
Which I
mean,
thought was kind of steep, but
my guy, you could spend $700 on a normal coffee table. This is a
yeah.
$700 computer table. Like when I saw it, I was like, you know what? I expected more. I expected it to be over a grand. So
I
So
guess
yeah,
that's true.
there was a bunch of other little knickknacks. I'm just gonna rattle off a couple. Samsung, Samsung made a better Roomba. It's
Hold
got
on.
what?
We just gonna we just gonna go over the fact that you went Samsung.
Well, like I did a little quick roast of myself, you know, just one of like
Okay, okay, okay,
the
okay. Sorry.
sarcastic repeats. But
You just aren't ugly very often, so I
all
just
right,
gotta
take a
point it
moment
out.
to appreciate my Samsung. Breathe in
Samsung.
and out.
I can see the t-shirts now. All right.
Oh my gosh. You need to start writing these down because like you got all these inside joke phrase t-shirt ideas that we need to like sell. Anyway,
I'm on it.
Samsung saying it wrong on purpose now. As a better Roomba, it's got a LiDAR radar thing, whatever the hell they're called, sensor. That's what I'm looking.
Yeah, yeah.
LiDAR radar sensor. So it can like map your room out. And then it's got cameras on it. So like basically infiltrate your whole damn house. There you go. Send all that shit back to Samsung. Then when it's done
Oh my
infiltrating
god.
your house, it'll go dump off any dirt it might have collected on the way in the recharge plate. Kind of smart.
I mean, until you're like with Roombas and any of that stuff, I'm like until your cat or dog like takes a shit in your house, and then your vacuum's like, "We got some dirt, guys," and we're just like, and it tries to clean it up and just smears it all over the place. Like that's when those are just like, yeah, yeet, nah.
Yeah. Ampere shower power. So this is a Bluetooth speaker. Now you know how like
Okay,
shower speakers
singing in the shower,
they're
yeah.
they're kind of like gimmicky and trash and like just like a gag gift almost. Unless you
And
want to spend a lot of money.
we've all been there where we put our cell phone in like the corner of the bathroom or like try to like put the speaker against the wall kind of to make it go louder so you can listen to your phone in the shower.
Well, once I got one of those UE mega booms, I just put that
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
bathroom now. So it feels
Honestly, why do you need a speaker in the shower? Just like go buy like a nice like Bose
see this
Bluetooth
is what
speaker.
my reasoning is as well. But listen to this. This is why this next part's cool. It's not battery operated. You actually like hook it behind your shower head so the water goes through it and like a hydro like turbine
Oh,
powers it. So it's basically just like a permanent addition that you never have to charge.
rip to like all the electric showers out in Europe. Even this company's like, yo, we could do hydropower in the shower. Okay, we don't need to use electricity.
Yeah. I mean, you might be able to hook this up to an electric shower. Like the way that this picture has it, it looks like it has the handle, like the like the handle showers, like it's
Oh
behind
yeah.
that. So I don't know, but still, just roast Europe real quick.
Yo, okay, but like, did you see Razer like just
Yeah,
hopping like as
yeah.
soon as possible? Yo,
Okay,
masks,
not as
but
soon as possible.
LEDs.
Not as soon as possible. This to me seems late. Like
Yeah, I guess so, but like
they all right.
for what?
Before we start diving into, we didn't even say it yet. They've made a N95 certified RGB speaker having clear mouth able to be seeing mask. I don't
I
no price, no date. It's still concept. But like we are in a vaccine having world with a game plan to kind of like work away from masks and we're only now getting it. By
okay,
the time it's even got a date, release, price, it's going to be kind of late.
okay, but hear me out. Two things, one funny, one serious. Okay,
Okay.
on a serious note, that I don't think it's too late because honestly, this past year I've been my healthiest. Now I know a lot of people haven't, and I hope everyone good health. But from wearing my mask consistently after vaccines and stuff, I'm probably gonna keep wearing a mask in public. I haven't gotten the flu this year. I haven't even got a small cold or like strep throat, which I usually get every year, or a sinus infection. And like, well, granted, I'm not leaving my house as much, but I don't know. I might be convinced to actually buy a mask and wear it regularly after all this is done. Like just if I go grocery shopping or something, like I might, like how before COVID, if you saw somebody wearing a mask in an airport, you're like, what's wrong with them? Like you're like, what they got some like medical condition or something, but like that's probably gonna be me now because like they are just germ fests. Like
Yeah.
Now the funny note, I really hope that somebody at Razer, like when they pitched this, it was just simple, like where they're like, "Yeah, we need to get a mask, but RGB it.
Yeah.
Like we got to go the company mantra, and that's just throw LEDs at this thing
I
like
mean, there was no way it
nonstop."
wasn't having lights on it. Like, like if it was Razer certified and didn't have a light, I'm like, you guys are lying. Like, this is not Razer. Oh man.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah, I don't think like once like mask restrictions are lifted, my stance on it is that like I don't want to become like like weakened to like all things. Like you kind of have to have some resistance build up. So like I'm not gonna be like, okay, I'm vaccinated, mask off. You know what I mean? But like I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm going to like take the leap. Like I'm gonna get sick, yeah, because I've been like fine for a while. But like I might not get COVID sick, but like you kind of have to build a resistance again. So even though I might have a cool light up mask that people can see me talk through and it'll project my voice, I kind of don't want to wear that shit. It's uncomfortable, fogs up my glasses. Like I don't need it no more.
bro. I wonder if like wearing masks out in public is gonna be like the wearing jeans to work, where it's like one dude in the office started doing it, and everyone's like, "Dude, he's about to get fucking fired, dude. Like, what is he doing?" And then all of a sudden, people wearing hoodies in the office is like, "Yo, they're wearing hoodies," and then it just became a norm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a weird thing. One more thing
Yeah.
I forgot about that before we wrap it up. This is really cool to me, and I don't think
Hmm.
it's ready to be like again. It's everything's not ready yet. It's always like excited about the future.
Yeah, yeah.
TCL made colored e-ink paper tablet thing.
Oh yeah.
So like it's called Next paper. I'm assuming it's NXT paper. And you know, like the paper white Kindle or whatever it's called, and it
Yeah, yeah.
looks like natural and no backlight. It's like
Hmm.
that, but it looks like a color screen. Granted, right now
Okay.
it's kind of like washed out or whatever, but like they can now produce color and it looks kind of like you saw it on paper. So
Right.
that kind of technology might come to like TVs and stuff. So like personally, like I don't like watching TV like in the dark where the TV is the only thing at my face. Like I have like the
Right.
bias light behind it or I'll have like a lamp on. So like in this case you might actually have to like fully light the TV if it went to that. So this might only stay on tablets, but I do think it's pretty cool and I hope that they can find like a happy medium because
Yeah.
the main benefit of it is it doesn't produce blue light. So like
Yeah.
it's easier on the eyes.
We just go back to like Game Boy Advance where we had to have like our attachment of a
The
light
little
to
light, dude.
the
Oh man. Those were the days.
uh, I remember playing like on like my Game Boy at riding home, and I would use the street lamps of
Yeah, you like I can see
the
for 5 seconds. There it
van.
goes. See for 5 seconds. I think everybody did that at some point. Cause your parents, if you turn the light on in the car, like don't wear down the battery. Get that shit off.
Because remember, like I remember when like the was it Game Boy SP came out,
Yeah.
and like they were like, "Yo, it's got backlighting, and you can charge it while you play." And we're like, "What? Yo!" We're like, "Wait, what?
Mind
I can play this
boggling.
all night?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Those were the days.
Good times.
Whew.
Well, we hope you had some good times watching today's episode. And you know, we just sit here, we act ugly, we talk about tech, video games, everything, not cyberpunk this time. We hope
Hey,
we
whoa,
couldn't help it today though. It kept coming
yo,
back.
we don't speak that word anymore. That's just not a thing.
Okay. Okay. But
Yeah.
like, subscribe, hit the bell. That's the thing.
Yeah, but you can say dark mode. Like you can definitely hit,
Share it with everyone you
yo, like
know.
share that around. We need it.
Yeah, for sure.
But we appreciate you guys for sticking with us and watching all every week, hopefully, and much more to come.
For sure. We'll catch you in the next one.